Hi friends, it's time for our real estate tip of the week with our real estate expert Denise Miyahira, who's here to answer a viewer question. Hi Denise.
Hi Val.
We had a viewer submit an email question. Suzanne asked, what's the difference between a buyer's realtor and a seller's realtor?
I love that Suzanne's trying to figure out who's representing whom and trying to identify the relationship. So there is a buyer's realtor, and the buyer's realtor is working really hard on behalf of the buyer. The buyer's trying to figure out, how do I buy this house? What type of financing do I need? Where can I start searching? How do I get the best deal, right? So they have their own set of goals.
Right.
That realtor is there to help their buyer attain those goals.
Okay.
Then we have a seller's realtor. And the seller's realtor is representing the seller and trying to work on behalf of the seller and getting the seller the best price for their house. So we kind of have two different types of relationships happening, right? And you want to make sure that whichever relationship you have with your realtor, you understand what services are being provided, what do I expect out of the realtor, how much commissions are the realtors asking for, and how are they getting paid. So you need to have all of this spelled out with your realtor.
Right. And is it at some point, can a certain realtor represent both a buyer and a seller?
So I typically will have buyers and I also have sellers, right? So I'm helping buyers looking for homes, trying to figure out what's the best place to live and finding out as much information as possible. And then I have the sellers who are trying to attract those types of buyers, trying to sell the house, make sure the house looks great and getting the best price. The only time it could be a conflict is if my buyer wants to buy my seller's house. So the buyer is expecting me to represent them and to make sure that their goals are being attained and what they want is being represented. The seller is also expecting me to represent their goals and make sure that I'm on their side. So if there is an agent representing both sides of a transaction, it's called a dual agent.
Gotcha.
And each side has to go in knowing what is going to happen, what are the expectations, who's being represented, how are they being represented, and are you both comfortable with that? You have to have the agreement between the buyer and the seller to allow this one realtor to represent both sides.
Great tips, Denise. And all of these expectations can be spelled out when you hire a realtor, whether it is if you're the buyer or the seller, right?
That is absolutely correct, Val. You want to make sure that you have an agreement in writing so that everybody knows these are the expectations. Everything's very transparent. We all understand what our roles are, what our responsibilities are, and what needs to be done for each side.
Good information. Thank you so much, Denise. So friends, if you have a question for our expert, head to our website, fashionsensaway.com. For anything real estate related, contact Denise directly.
Thanks, Val, and together we'll find the keys to your happy home.
We'll be right back. Tune in for your daily dose of fashion sense on Spectrum OC16.